Good afternoon. Hello. By way of introduction, I'm James Mitchell, also known as the DIY woodworker. Now, why do I use that moniker? Well, because I am basically a DIYer. I've been doing things all my life for myself, for my home, my friends, building things, taking things down, putting things up. I've been a DIYer all my life. I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a DIYer. If there's something at the house that I can tackle and accomplish without paying for professional help, well, it gets done, and it gets done by me. I've been cutting wood all my life. Some things I've cut and built and I'm real proud of, and some of them was just good for a laugh, but that's just the way that goes. I've built storage sheds, I've built patios, I've built decks, I've built, completely built the whole house from scratch. I drew my plans up, found a contractor that could build to those plans, and we built a house. Now, I didn't build it all myself. I was basically the the man in charge. I oversaw the jobs. Everything that I couldn't do myself, I contracted out to have done, but I set up all the contractors, I did all the planning, I did all the scheduling, and brought people in as we needed to bring them in to keep the construction of the house going on. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, about a 2,400 square foot house, and it turned out to be pretty nice. Unfortunately, we didn't get to live there that long. We got to live in it just about a year. Job transfer required that I sell and move, so someone bought the house, but we didn't do that bad. We cleared a little over $40,000 on the sale of the house between what it cost me to build and what I sold it for. So probably could have gotten more for it, but hey, I was gone to a new job in another state, in another city, and that's the way those things are. But anyhow, the reason for this video is I want to document my building of my garage cabinets. Back over my right shoulder, that garage wall, down on the floor, you can see behind me some plywood against the wall. That's the cabinet grade plywood that I'm going to use. And I want to document my building of those cabinets. A while back, April, May, somewhere along in there, March, I purchased from Sommerfeld Tools, their Sommerfeld Tools router system that they sell. Now, I looked at this thing online for 6 or 8 months before I bought it, but I finally broke down and bought it with my wife's blessing, which I didn't need it, but I got it. It goes easier that way when she agrees to what I'm doing, especially when I'm spending a big chunk of change. We're both retired, both on Social Security, so that, it's a major thing, it's a major purchase. So I did it, and I bought it, and it's sitting over here behind me. It came in, it was about 6 or 8 boxes, I forget the total number, but it was like Christmas in July when it arrived. And put it together, and of course it comes all disassembled. You have to assemble the whole thing. I mean, the table top, the router top is 3 pieces of big heavy cast aluminum, and you have to put those together and align them and put it all together, and you got to mount the router up underneath it, which is a big heavy-duty Triton top-of-the-line router that comes with it. And the cabinet that it sits on, you have to build. That didn't come with it. They sent you the plans and give you the dimensions, told you how to build it, but you have to build it. And I did that. Now, it didn't all go smoothly as I'd liked it to have, but I have a problem with some of my drawers not operating so well. Why is that? Well, the cabinet didn't get built totally square. Not that I didn't measure square or stuff like that. The saw I was using at the time was a 20-plus-year-old little cheap 10-inch blade table saw, portable table saw that I'd had for over 20 years. Remember that house I told you we built? Well, that's the saw I bought to cut studs and stuff with back then. And it sat for years in the garage and was never used, and I finally drug it out and started using it to build this cabinet. Well, when I was building my drawers for my cabinet, things just weren't coming out right. Drawer pieces were coming up crooked, nothing matched, nothing was lining up. It was just a mess. And come to find out what the problem was the saw. The fence on the saw just wouldn't hold a 90-degree cut. I'd measure carefully, I'd set it up, and I'd make sure that the front of the saw and the back of the saw, everything was lined up, was ready to go, and I'd just happily cut away. Well, that saw didn't work too good. It ended up going in the trash can, and I replaced it with a rigid saw, which I'll show you here in a minute. It's a 10-inch portable, but it's on a stand, and it's much more significant saw than what I had. And my rigid saw works wonderfully. I've got no complaints. I'm thoroughly pleased with it. And for $399, I don't think you can buy a better saw than this rigid saw that I have. But anyhow, I've got these plans that I want to build. These are my plans I drew up. I don't know how this is going to come up on the screen. I'll hold this up here and how much you can see of that. But that's one cabinet. This is the other cabinet. And this is a cut sheet that I made to cut my plywood. Again, I don't know how well that's going to come out until I review this, but that's what those are. And I'm going to do that, and it's all going to be built from scratch using 3/4 inch, well actually 23/32, because I can't buy a 3/4 inch anywhere. This plywood that I got back here, and I'll talk about that later in another video, where I got it, why I got it, and all that. Briefly, I want to talk about Sommerfeld Tools for a minute. I'm not an employee of Sommerfeld. I receive no money from them in any way, shape, or form. I get nothing from them. I'm not connected to them in any way imaginable. All I do to Sommerfeld Tools is I send them my money. That's the only way we're connected. But if you've seen this Sommerfeld Tools online, their system, and you've been kind of hem-hawing about buying it, go ahead and get it. Don't worry about it. Get it. It's worth it. It's worth every penny it costs. It's a fantastic system, and I can't praise it enough. And I can't praise Sommerfeld Tools. You talk about customer service. Those people epitomize customer service. I mean, anytime I've had a problem, it don't matter what it was, day or night, I've called them, and within a very reasonable length of time, I've got a response back from them. And if I've needed another part or another piece or something they sent me broke or something happened, no problem, no questions asked, boom, it's shipped right out. So again, Sommerfeld, they're great. You can't do better. You can spend a whole lot more money, but I don't think you can do any better. So that's enough said on that. Now, I'm going to put this cabinet together that I'm using. I'm going to use it the Sommerfeld tongue and groove method. They don't use pocket hole screws. Well, we use pocket hole screws on a face frame. That's the only place you use them. But other than that, there's no screws used in the building cabinet. We don't use biscuits. We don't use dowels. We don't use any other sundry of wood joining techniques that are out there. It's all tongue and groove. I'm going to get up and show my cabinet here and talk about it just briefly. This cabinet comes with when you buy their set of tools, you get plans for this cabinet. And there it is. It's 10 drawers. It's designed to hold the router table on top. Now mine is on casters, you'll notice. The plans don't call for casters, but I put mine on casters because I'm out here in my garage working. I need to move things in and out and back and forth and around, and the cabinet is too heavy and it's too big to move around, especially by myself. So I put wheels on it, casters on it, so I can move it in and out as I need to. I also, while I was working on my saw, I was using my new shop vac. My old shop vac gave up the ghost, so I bought this new shop vac. Lord have mercy. It would just fill up with sawdust and fill up with sawdust, and the filters would get clogged up, and the vacuum would get hot. And it was just a mess, and I was going through filters like crazy. And then I got online and said, there needed to be a better way. And I found this. This is the Oneida, however you pronounce it, Dust Deputy. It's a vacuum twirl thing, and it works fantastic. I mean, it sucks the dust up like crazy. All the dust goes down in the 5-gallon bucket. my shop back hasn't seen any dust now in 6 months or more since I've had it. Now you notice it's sitting on a little cart. That's a cart that I built so I can, again, roll it around in and out wherever I need to go. If I need to hook it to my router, if I need to hook it to my table saw, if I need to hook it over here on something else that I'm using, that's it. There's my saw. Now that's $399, and I'm not plugging Home Depot, but that's the only place I could get this rigid saw. But it's the best saw you can get for that money, and I can't tell you how I can be more satisfied with a tool than I am with that one. You can see I got it extended out there. That's up to a 25-inch cut to the right-hand side of your blade, which there's not many saws that'll give you that. Actually, 26-inch cut, but I've never extended it that far. I've just got it that far for demonstration. But these tools and other tools, I've got sundry other tools, hand tools, circular saws and band saws, and I've got some other tools that I use, but sanders and box joint jigs and you name it, clamps. You can never have too many clamps. I don't have enough as it is, and I got quite a few over there, and I don't have enough. But you always need more clamps. Like I said, I plan on putting these on this back wall over here. I plan on mounting them now. I'm not going to screw them. I want to use the French cleat system to mount them on the wall, which we'll talk more about that when we get to that part of the build. But okay, that's basically just a little overview who I am and why I'm here. Another thing I wanted to talk about, just real briefly. I watched all these builders on the internet, and maybe it's just jealousy talking here, I don't know, but I see these guys and they're talking about how they build these things and they're giving you all these demonstrations, and you look at the shop and they've got $15, $20 or more $1,000 in tools. I mean, I looked at one guy's shop, he was showing he had to have $100,000 if he had a dime in it. And they're talking about all the things they can do. Well, that's well and good. And like I said, it's probably just jealousy on my part, but that's just way, way beyond my means. So I wanted to document this and show what I'm doing to show that if you're a DIYer like I am and you want to build stuff, you don't have to go out and buy all those high dollar, super expensive tools. You just don't have to do it. And that's one reason I'm going to make these video documentaries, to try and show that it can be done with a reasonable outlay of money by anybody that's anything but just stone broke. So that's why I'm doing this. It's not that I like to put my face out on the internet to be ridiculed and laughed at and made fun of. That's not the purpose. I just want to show that as a DIYer, do-it-yourself type fella, that things can be done reasonably and reasonably priced with tools. And that's why I'm making this video. Now I won't cut it off here because I'm running out of time, but I want to thank you for putting up with me and listening to me. I'll be back from time to time, and I'll be making more videos as time permits. So for now, I'll call it an evening, and thank you much for listening to me and looking at me, and we'll talk to you later.